They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bug Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are 2 busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hello and welcome as we start today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Here's hoping that all is well with you and yours, woohoo, in your little slice of heaven. Since the last opportunity we had to spend a little time with you and yours roughly some 24 hours ago. Boy, what a difference 24 hours can make, right? We are keeping a very wary eye on the tropics now as Invest 99L is grabbing the attention of folks all along the Gulf Coast, but more particularly in our portion of the Gulf Coast. This is reading from the website, the Meteorology Department with WVLA, the NBC affiliate here in Baton Rouge. The tropical wave in the Caribbean is quickly becoming more organized. The National Hurricane Center now gives it a 90% chance of becoming a tropical depression today or tomorrow. As far as the track is concerned, it reads, it is expected to track over the eastern Yucatan Peninsula to the tip of Cuba on Friday, where it's already expected to be a marginally developed system. It will then track northwest in the Gulf of Mexico towards Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi on Saturday. A high-pressure system on the east coast will keep it further west. The strength and exact position of this high-pressure system will determine the storm's trajectory. The other thing that will affect trajectory of the system is when and where it officially develops. The next part is important. Right now, it has no well-defined center of circulation. Until it does, the exact path of the storm that it will take will remain unclear. It's very likely a hurricane will make landfall on the Gulf Coast Sunday or Monday, anywhere from the upper Texas coast to Mississippi, which obviously includes Louisiana in that cone of uncertainty. Until it becomes a developed system, the trajectory will continue to change. Right now, Invest 99L is trudging through a pocket of dry air, but will soon move into more moist conditions closer to Cuba and the Yucatan. Water temperatures remain favorable in the Gulf, as 83 to 86 degrees across the likely path of the storm will lead to strengthening. Wind shear is also looking strong in the Gulf, but this is expected to clear up later. Bottom line, the various models dealing with Invest 99L. The latest model runs have it tracking over the state of Louisiana. Until it becomes a more developed system, obviously, this could easily change. The American model, more commonly known as the GFS model, takes the storm over New Orleans and up the states of Louisiana and Mississippi. The European model takes it over Lafayette and up the state of Louisiana. The Canadian model takes it straight through Baton Rouge. Now, obviously, remember, models are not the actual forecasts. And until the system develops fully, in all likelihood, whatever the forecast model is at the moment will likely change. Until it gets into the Gulf, the direct impacts that we can expect from Invest 99L, expected to be a hurricane, they're hard to pinpoint. This is not you guys and girls' first rodeo. You have been through countless hurricanes, and you know that until we can determine with a degree of certainty the forecast track, it's almost impossible to tell what the major impacts are going to be. At this point, assuming, forecasters say, assuming that it becomes a fully developed hurricane upon landfall, major impacts will likely be heavy rain, flash flooding, especially near and to the east of the center of the storm. Damaging winds and tornadoes are all potential impacts for this storm. It could, and we stress could, impact Louisiana early next week. So it goes without saying, y'all, now is the time to make sure that your hurricane preparedness is all taken care of. You've got the bottled water, you've got the gas for the generator, you have the non-perishable food items, the usual stuff that we go through here in South Louisiana this time of year, every year. It is never too early for you and yours to start planning and make preparations. It is just part and parcel of living where we live. Every year about this time, regular as clockwork, or as the old adage goes, sure as shooting, you know it's coming. So, word to the wise, first and foremost, keep an eye on the weather throughout the course of the weekend, because as you know, with these darn things, they can change at a moment's notice, many times with no notice at all. That's what they do. It's Mother Nature. And unless and until we get to the point where we have mastered Mother Nature, which I can relatively safely say, English teachers, here we go in 3, 2, 1, ain't gonna be anytime soon, then govern yourselves accordingly. It is getting to the point now where we start to entertain the most active part of the season. As a matter of fact, there are currently in the open Atlantic 2 low-pressure systems that have a medium chance of development in the coming days. No impact to Baton Rouge, the capital region, is expected there, but again, all of this could well be subject to change depending on what day you check the forecast and, of course, what happens out in the tropics and the Gulf between now and then. It is something we were hoping we wouldn't have to deal with, but the reality of the matter is the probabilities are not in our favor. It is something that we deal with all the time, something we've become accustomed to. And if you're like me, over the years, particularly the last couple of years, where we have had what many might consider more than our fair share of hurricanes, you get to the point where you just kind of resign yourself to it. You know, as a younger person, having covered hundreds, I guess, of these things throughout the course of my broadcast career, as we watch them develop and start to put South Louisiana in the crosshairs, if you're like me, at one point you would, you know, you'd have that come to Jesus and, God, please don't let that thing come here. Of course, now, as you get older and hopefully wiser, you realize that if he answers your prayer and it doesn't come here, that means it's going to affect somebody else, someplace else. So I have had to grow in that regard, and then now I simply ask for God's protection, whoever is in the path of wherever the thing happens to go. That is just a part of realizing that if it doesn't hit you, it's going to hit somebody else. So we will send up our most earnest and sincere prayers to all the folks that are in whatever the path ends up being of Invest 99L, which in all likelihood will probably be a hurricane early next week when it makes landfall somewhere between the states of Texas, Louisiana, and or Mississippi. Do your due diligence, guys, girls. No need to freak out, panic, and abandon reason and logic. This is not our first rodeo, and I feel fairly comfortable in saying it's not going to be our last. It is what it is. We do what we do, we soldier on, and we move on. After we get our first break of the hour out of the way, the breaking news this morning all started, I don't know, roughly about an hour and 50 minutes, maybe 2 hours ago. Suicide bombings outside the airport in Kabul. As you can imagine, numbers are varying across the board. I've been personally keeping an eye on Newsmax, Fox News, online, Wall Street Journal, Citizen Free Press, and others. Numbers vary at this point on the number of dead and wounded. So far, the general consensus seems to be only 3 American Marines wounded, no fatalities just yet. But as we head into this commercial break, I will refresh all the sources that we've been monitoring and keeping an eye on throughout the course of the morning. And hopefully those numbers won't be significantly worse in that regard. So far, we've heard numbers anywhere from 6 to 13 fatalities, as many as 30 to 50 wounded, and 3 American Marines in that number of wounded. We'll bring you all up to speed on that, but we need to get this first break of today's show out of the way. We'll do that and talk more with you when we come back on the Clarence Bugg Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Go where summer leads you in an award-winning Mazda CUV. Find yours during Mazda's season of discovery.
Call, click, or come by and discover your new Mazda today at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. If you have been out of the loop news-wise for the bulk of the morning, you may not be aware of the breaking news out of Kabul, Afghanistan. Worst case scenario, and it's hard to imagine. Well, wait. Let me rephrase that. I was about to say, it's hard to imagine that the administration did not know this was a very real possibility. Of course, now when I think about all the things that this administration has not known, does not know, and probably will not know, despite the fact that everybody else knows it, the list is too long to go into here. It was announced yesterday that intelligence agencies had credible threat assessments that suicide bombers were in fact going to attack the airport and surrounding areas in Kabul. And sure enough, roughly 2 hours ago, reports started surfacing of multiple explosions at and around the airport in Kabul, Afghanistan. Depending on what source you quote, numbers are varying, anywhere from 30 to 60 wounded, anywhere from 6 to 13 dead, including children. That, ironically, comes from the Taliban. Additionally, 3 U.S. Marines also reported as wounded in this attack. There was an explosion originally outside the Baron Hotel at Kabul, where many Americans and our Afghan allies had been holed up. Less than 2 hours after that initial explosion, a second explosion reported at the Abbey Gate at the airport in Kabul. The blast comes mere hours after officials warned of, quote, an imminent bomb threat from ISIS-K. It is part and parcel of the confusion running rampant in intelligence agencies and defense agencies involved in the evacuation there, that America's top diplomat there, Ross Wilson, claiming that it's still safe to go to the airport. Go figure, right? And I guess at this point in the game, understanding the confusion, the ignorance, the missteps, I guess it only stands to reason that when something of this magnitude starts to happen, you can pretty much bet you're going to get more of the same. More confusion, more ignorance, more missteps in that regard. Meanwhile, the Pentagon is insisting that it will not withdraw troops in the next 36 hours and will stay until at least August 31st. Speaking of confusion, it should say a lot to us that as recently as yesterday, when the White House was asked, well, you all have this self-imposed deadline of the 31st. Does that mean 1 second after the clock trips over to the 31st? Or does that mean 11:59:59 on the end of the 31st? Do you know these clowns at the White House didn't have an answer? Well, we say the 31st, but we don't know if that means when the 31st starts or when the 31st ends. I mean, how in God's name do reasonably intelligent people set a deadline and don't know what their own freaking deadline means? At some point, you would think we would be able to do the most basic of things right. Okay, well, 31st, that's the deadline. Okay, does that mean when the clock turns over to the 31st or when the 31st expires? We'll have to get back to you on that. Really? If you can't do something as elementary as that correctly, how much faith am I supposed to have that you can do something monumental correctly? For example, speaking of, this late date in this debacle, we still don't have a concrete number on how many Americans we still have to get out. How in God's name can you expect to do something efficiently or completely and you have no idea the exact number of people you're trying to get out? You know, at one point in our country's history, we as Americans had certain things that we didn't need to say. There were certain things that as Americans and as America, this is what we do. Well, what do you think they're going to do about? Oh, you don't have to answer that question. You don't have to ask that question, Hoss. We know how they roll. We know. For example, Nancy Pelosi this week, when asked about the Americans stranded in Afghanistan, said, and I quote, "Hopefully we can evacuate all of these people." Now, I am the first to admit, I'm old school. I'm old school. So I remember full well my entire life, at least up until recent memory, there was never any of this, well, hopefully we can get everybody out. No, it was always, we will get our people out. We will not leave until we secure safely all of our people. Do you realize how quickly we have gone from we don't leave Americans behind to now, well, hopefully we can get them all out. Good luck. Good luck. Really? In this short span of time, we have gone from we don't leave Americans behind to, well, hopefully we can get them all out. As an American, as disheartening as that is, you also have to wonder, what do our allies think of us? And at the end of the day, if it were me, I'd start to wonder, do I really want to be your ally? I mean, after all, if you will leave your own citizens to their own devices, realistically, how much help should I expect from you if I have a problem? Well, hopefully, we'll get all of these people out. You know, my late father, God bless him, for 27 years, wearing the uniform of the United States Army, was one of the guys that in an instance like this would be called upon to go and save the lives of our fellow Americans. I say that not because of some vested interest, but I say that because I understand that there are those among us who volunteer to be sure that no American is ever left behind anywhere. I say that because some folks are willing to step up and make the ultimate sacrifice, if need be, for their fellow Americans. At the end of the day, there are certain things, I guess I have to backtrack that. I was about to say, there are certain things we don't do as Americans. And one of them is leaving our own behind. But apparently, somewhere down the road, that changed. Now, if it has, it is what it is. But if it is true, you can expect in the near future our allies to look at us like they've never looked at us before. You can expect folks that may have been on the fence about, who do I think would have my best interest at heart if stuff went south here? China, Russia, America, UK? There was a point in time where we were at the top of the list. Now, I guess it just depends on who you talk to. Let me get this bottom of the hour break out of the way. You know, times like these show you the true mettle of people, not the METAL, the METTLE. Now is when you find out what folks are really made of. Adversity teaches you a lot, and it shows you a lot. We'll talk about that when we come back after the bottom of the hour break on the Clarence Bugg Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. During that last commercial break, I snuck a peek at one of the monitors here. And for those of you that have been completely out of the loop, most credible sources are attributing today's explosions at the Barron Hotel in Kabul and at the Abbey Gate at the airport in Kabul to suicide bombers from ISIS. That is Pentagon, DOD, major news sources, all so far in agreement on that. But I noticed that the State Department has issued a communique to Americans to leave the airport immediately. So we will keep an eye on this throughout the duration of the show and see where it goes. You know, I don't guess that there is any way to quantify this one way or another. But if not, conventional wisdom says you would have to think that somewhere down the road, if in fact bombings of this nature continue, you're going to have to wonder how many of these bombs, suicide bombers, roadside IEDs, what have you, how many of them will have been paid for by American taxpayer dollars? Recently, The Hill and a number of other agencies started doing a little digging to find out exactly what did we hand over to the Afghan army and what have they now in turn handed over to the Taliban and God knows whom else. The Hill reports that between 2003 and 2016, we transferred 75,898 vehicles, right at 600,000 weapons, 162 plus thousand pieces of communications equipment, 208 aircraft, including fixed-wing and Black Hawk helicopters, 16,191 pieces of intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance equipment to the Afghan forces. From 2017 to 2019, we also handed over to Afghan forces 7,035 machine guns, 4,702 Humvees, over 20,000 hand grenades, close to 3,000 bombs, and 1,394 grenade launchers, aside from other assorted military equipment. Now, I don't claim to have access to anybody's crystal ball or Marty's great uncle, Sister Eve, the woman that can see the future and talk to the dead and all that kind of stuff. That's Marty's people, by the way. I don't claim to have access to any of that. But as a thinking person, a rational individual, I've got to think that that weaponry is going to be used in some form or fashion, whether it is for a terrorist attack against whomever, whether it is the Taliban using it against Afghanis that remain in Afghanistan. But it is the height of sheer folly to think that these weapons are not going to be used against someone. I understand full well that there are millions of people that don't care what other people think of us. I get it. That's your right as an American. No harm, no foul. I understand there are millions of people that could care less what other people say. I get it. But as an American, as a proud American, the only thing that chaps my hide worse than leaving a fight like a dog with your tail tucked between your legs is leaving the fight with your tail tucked between your legs and still have to deal with billions of American taxpayer dollars being squandered and left, of all places, in the hands of people who would love nothing more than to see us dead. My late father, God bless him, when I started school back stateside after returning from Kaiserslautern, Germany, we had just started integration here in East Baton Rouge Parish. So we had to sit down. Sarge, as we all affectionately called him, and his kids. And he explained to us what was taking place and what in all likelihood we might find ourselves having to deal with. And inevitably, the conversation came around to defending yourself. You said, now, there's going to be some folk that's going to try you. That's just the nature of the beast. That is the reality of the times in which we live. You said, now, I'm not trying to tell you how to fight your battle, but typically, you find the biggest, most boisterous, mess-talking fool in the crowd, and you waylay him. Now, he said, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care if you win the fight or lose the fight. Just remember something. It's never about the size of the dog in the fight. It's all about the size of the fight in the dog. I'm going to say that again. It's never about the size of the dog in the fight. The only thing that matters is how much fight is in the dog. How many times have you seen a Chihuahua stare down, bluff his way through a dog maybe, 20 times bigger than he or she happens to be. It's never about the size of the dog in the fight. It's all about the size of the fight in the dog. Ask Bill Profita. He just walked through the door. He'll tell you. He's a short fella. As Bill said, that's right. That's right. At the end of the day, y'all, our respect around the world is at stake. At the end of the day, our reputation among our friends and our allies, it's at stake. And at the end of the day, whether or not people can count on us to do right by them is at stake. As I've watched this whole thing unfold, I have to ask myself, what would Sarge think about all of this? What would my late father think about what is taking place in this country, and particularly with Afghanistan? Sadly, I can't think of anything positive that he would have to say about it. These are troubling times, my friends. Of course, now, I am still of the belief that we as Americans, we do our best work when our backs are against the wall. Go through history, and you will find times where just when you thought, oh, America's got their back against the wall now, I don't know how they're going to come out of this. Every single time we rally to the cause. We're Americans. That's what we do. I only hope that we have not allowed, got to be careful here because I want to say what I feel. That'll get me in trouble. That'll get me in a whole lot of trouble. Unfortunately, we have allowed a certain level of folks that either don't appreciate from whence we've come or don't understand who we truly are to change everything about this country. Well, almost everything. We have our final break of today's show just around the corner. The COVID mandate pushback is gaining steam all across the country. But in watching this last night, it said something different to me. I'd like to share that with you. Let me get this final break of today's show out of the way. We'll come back, put that big old pretty bow on this puppy, and wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, here and only here on the Pelican. Stay close.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
The all-new 22 Civic, now on sale at Team Honda on Siegen Lane.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. taste the feeling.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With private healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back to the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. If you have watched this show for any amount of time, you've heard me say God knows how many times, don't listen to what they tell you. Watch what they do. Actions speak a whole lot louder than words. If I could use an old adage other than that one picture's worth 1,000 words. I found it particularly interesting and very telling this week when AOC of the Squad fame came out and demanded that the United States settle a minimum of 200,000 Afghans in this country. She's very adamant about that. And it occurred to me as I was reading the article, wait a minute. You mean to tell me that you would demand that we take 200,000 Afghanis, minimum, mind you, and drop them off, put them into the most evil and systemically racist country on the face of the earth? I mean, you've heard the rhetoric from AOC. You've heard the denigration of this great country of ours. Her words, not mine. You've heard AOC and the rest of the Squad take every available opportunity to criticize this country, demonize this country, and when the opportunity wasn't there, well, they just made one up. And now, all of a sudden, she wants 200,000 people to be relocated to the most systemically racist and horrible country ever created in the history of the human species. Kind of makes you wonder how much of that crap she's spewing she actually believes, huh? Now, some are saying they've already figured out, have the Democrats / liberals / progressives, they've already figured out where and how many new voters we need to be able to influence certain elections in America. Kind of funny that AOC just clear out of the blue came up with a figure of 200,000. Huh. Just a little something to make you go, Just saying. Conventional wisdom would say, if she believes what she says about this country, systemically racist, the whole nine, wouldn't she be directing people to go any place other than the United States? Just saying. Just saying. I mentioned heading into the final break. The pushback now continues and is gaining momentum across the country against these vaccine mandates. The latest to catch my eye was the police union in Chicago. The president of the Fraternal Order of Police Union there, John Canizara, he didn't pull any punches, and he let the mayor, the esteemed Lori Lightfoot, who, by the way, has gone on record as saying, well, yeah, we're going to have a mandate for city employees, and there's no doubt about that. The police union says, Madam Mayor, not just no, but hell no. We're not taking it. They are just the latest in a number of unions and other organizations, institutions across the country that are saying, thanks, but no thanks. I think we'll sit this one out. And of course, the left can't, for the life of them, figure out why are people so hesitant to get the COVID-19 vaccine. I mean, we've been telling them, how dangerous the virus is. We've been telling them, giving them this information, that information. Don't they know that, what we're telling them is the truth? Well, I can't speak for everybody, nor would I ever attempt to. In a nation of 330 plus million people, you may have 340 million opinions. That's just how we roll as Americans. But maybe, just maybe, millions of Americans don't trust government because we were told initially, give us 2 weeks to flatten the curve. And look at where we are now. We were told just 2 weeks, put on the masks, social distance, and 2 weeks will flatten the curve. That's going on 2 years now. Not only is it going on 2 years now, but now you are entertaining circumventing my rights, my freedoms, and my liberties by forcing me to take something into my body I may not want. And you wonder why we don't trust you? Of course, these are also the same people that told us, well, there's no real crime increase in America today. AOC, let's not get caught up in the hysteria. And of course, we all know that's a bald-faced lie. And these are the same people that told us, well, there's no crisis at the border. Yeah, right. How many millions are we counting now? But there's no crisis at the border, even though we appointed a border czar and had her fly to other countries to find out the root causes, but there's no crisis at the border. And of course, these are the very same people that also told us, well, yeah, we can print money and, like it's going out of style and give away money to this program and that program and for this and that and the other, and there won't be any problem with inflation. You been to the grocery store lately, buddy? Been to the gas pump lately, buddy? Had to buy anything lately, buddy? But these are the same people that told us, well, there ain't going to be no inflation. If anything, it'll be healthy for the economy. Fiscally illiterate. And these are the folks you voted for. Crime, inflation, COVID, the border, now Afghanistan. Wrong on every freaking front. Do you really have to wonder why we don't put stock in anything you tell us anymore. It ain't that hard to figure out, y'all. Just saying. 10655 Coursey Boulevard. Bayou Smokehouse, the home of old school barbecue, is where we tape the show every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And my dear friends, the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher, do the same here as well. As a matter of fact, they will be right here. I almost said same bat time, same bat channel, but 1 out of 2 ain't bad. Same channel, same set, okay? They'll be up immediately upon the conclusion of yours truly. And, oh yeah, that's right, almost forgot. Uncle Roy, everybody's favorite crazy uncle. Uncle Roy Fletcher does his podcast on Wednesdays here. You never know who you're going to see when you show your face at Bayou Smokehouse. Real easy to find, real easy to get to. Good people, good atmosphere, good food. It's what we do in South Louisiana. Come on by, and whatever you do. Well, I've gotten to the point now where I've got so many favorites. I was going to say, be sure that you get the brisket. But as soon as I say that, then I also think about the smoked turkey legs, and I also think about the fresh ground, freshly smoked sausage. And then I also think about the bourbon baked beans, and then I think about the homemade mac and cheese, and, you know, you get the idea. You get the idea. 10655 Coursey Boulevard. Come on by. Give them the opportunity to earn your business. They will love you for it. I will love you for it. Your taste buds will love you for it, too. My time's up, y'all, and I got to go. But this day, just like any other, I give it to you. You know what? You're right. America, we're not perfect. But for this old boy's money, it's still the best there is, and God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you realize he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Either way, there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. Take care of yourselves. Keep an eye on the weather. We'll see you Tuesday. God bless.